the New York Jets could end their playoff drought as early as next year. With a lot of pieces already in place, they just need the right combination of GM, head coach, and quarterback to get them there. Someone get Woody Johnson on the phone, or Brick if you happen to be watching this, because we already did all the legwork and we found the 3 guys who will make Jets fans excited to scream those 4 letters again.
Welcome to the RFL Show, the rational show for rational fans. We're former college teammates and we've been around the game of football for a combined 30 years. Today, though, we're going to be making some personnel decisions to try to make the Jets relevant again. The Jets will miss the playoffs for the 14th consecutive season, and in year 2, it's clear that Aaron Rodgers' experiment hasn't worked. It's time to make some necessary changes. However, the entire roster isn't a dumpster fire. There are actually a lot of talented players all over this lineup. So if we can get just the perfect combination of GM, head coach, and quarterback, this team should be in the playoffs as quickly as next year. Woody Johnson already got a head start by firing Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh. Therefore, we looked at all the available options, ran through their backgrounds, and identified 3 guys who we believe can maximize this roster.
Emmett, let's start with the general manager spot. Joe Douglas's biggest shortcoming in his time as a Jets GM was the NFL draft. Outside of the 2022 draft, Douglas didn't have a whole lot of success when it came to picking players. Out of his 4 draft classes, he was only able to draft 2 Pro Bowlers in his tenure as the Jets GM. Eventually, all of those misses always catch up to a team. Therefore, we would give the job to current Commanders assistant GM, Lance Newmark. Lance should be a massive upgrade over what Douglas's biggest weakness was. Lance was with the Lions for 26 years, but most importantly, he was their senior director of player personnel from 2022 to 2023, a position that played an influential role in the Lions draft process and helped build one of the deepest rosters in the NFL. For comparison, Emmett, Newmark helped the Lions land 7 Pro Bowlers in the same time that Joe was in charge of the Jets draft. But that is not the end of his resume. To further cement his eye for talent, he took the position of assistant GM in Washington, D.C. in 2024 and immediately turned the Commanders around, thanks largely because of the draft class that they brought in.
Coincidence? I think not!
The Commanders draft class has played the 3rd most snaps this season out of any team's class of rookies and helped lead the Commanders to their first winning season in 8 years. Newmark is the exact guy the Jets need to supplement their current talent with depth and start building the next generation of talent.
Robert Saleh was a great defensive coordinator, but a bad head coach. He turned the Jets defense from a joke to a consistent top 10 unit during his tenure. And honestly, he deserves a lot more credit for what he did. However, his biggest failure was always the offense. Whether it was bad luck, bad OC selections, or a bad quarterback, either way, at some point that falls back on the head coach. Therefore, the new head coach of the Jets should be one that has a proven track record of having success running an offense. So we would give the job to Bucs OC, Liam Coen. Coen checks the biggest box everyone seems to care about today. He has had a conversation with Sean McVay at some point in his life. More specifically, he was with the Rams from 2018 to 2020 before joining Kentucky as their quarterbacks coach and OC in 2021. Then he went back to the Rams as their OC for the 2022 season before rejoining Kentucky in 2023 as their OC. Okay, this guy's had a weird, odd 4-year run, but trust me, it's been a successful one. So he's a great hire as long as you're okay with him taking a sabbatical to take a few classes at the local college every other year. At Kentucky, though, he helped produce 2 of the most successful offensive seasons in school history and made Will Levis look like a viable quarterback. However, his best work may be the job he did this year with Baker Mayfield in Tampa. The Bucs are top 5 in passing yards per game, touchdowns, and total yards, all while missing Godwin for most of the year and being without Mike Evans for long periods. Coen runs the same offensive system that McVay and Kevin O'Connell run, a system that puts an emphasis on making the quarterback's job as easy as possible. However, that does beg the question, what do the Jets do with Aaron Rodgers?
It's very easy to say that Aaron Rodgers' time in Jersey has been a huge flop. He missed all but 8 minutes his first year, and the wins just haven't been piling up in his second year. There does need to be some nuance here, though. He's coming off a massive injury and has spent the majority of this year trying to get his legs back underneath him. The last 4 games, though, he started to look like the Aaron Rodgers of old. posting a passer rating of over 100 in 3 of those 4 games. However, Emmett, I still do believe that it would be best for the Jets to move on from Rodgers. Rodgers is 41 and may only have a decent season or 2 left in him. He's also a kind of passive-aggressive dick, but that's technically not football related. The new regime should be allowed to pave their own way forward without being tied to the decisions of the past. Emmett, therefore, the best way for the Jets to move on from Rodgers is to cut him with a post-June 1st designation. This would actually save them $9.5 million for the 2025 season and give everyone a clean break to move on. With Rodgers out of the building, Coen is free to pick his quarterback for the future. However, which quarterback would be perfect for running Coen's system?
Here is where things do get a little bit complicated. It's not a great year to need a quarterback because there aren't a lot of great options out there. Currently, the Jets have the number 8 pick in the 2025 draft, and there is about 4 teams in front of them that really do need a quarterback. So if we're being honest with ourselves, the Jets likely aren't walking away from this draft with Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward. And the other options in the draft come with a lot of question marks. In free agency, there aren't any big-name veteran quarterbacks looking for a change of scenery either. However, there is one guy out there looking for a new home. He needs a realtor who had a lot of success running Coen's system and is familiar with the Jets organization. Sam Darnold. The prodigal son returns to Gotham. Sam has spent the last 2 years in the Shanahan-McVay system and has been spectacular leading the Vikings this year. He led them to a 12-2 record and is having his best statistical season by every single metric. He would come in with an extensive knowledge of the system and be surrounded by better talent and coaching than he ever was in his first stint with the team. But he wouldn't come cheap. Over the cap has his current value to be around $35 million, and with the slim options, that could easily explode past that projection. The Jets don't have a lot of cap space, but with the money they would save from releasing Rodgers, they would have enough to go as high as a 4-year, $160 million deal before things get really complicated. Will that be enough to get Darnold to return to the place that drafted him? I don't know. But if the Jets can't get him, the goal of returning to the playoffs in 2025 becomes a lot harder.
Tell us what you think. Who would you hire if you were Woody Johnson? Let us know in the comment section, and if you want to know how we would fix the other team that occupies MetLife Stadium, then you can find that video right here. Thank you so much for watching. We are the RFL Show, and we'll see you in the next video.